All right, check. Mic test 1 2 check check. All right, great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the show. Find your voice with the oxygen. And this morning is another beautiful Monday morning. All over the world, it's beautiful. I just walked into the studio this morning, and everywhere is very calm, cool, and very beautiful. The ambience of everything was great. Now, may I ask you, how was your weekend? How did you spend it? What did you do over the weekend? What are the things that made a difference for you in the course of the weekend? But, well, mine was very demanding, tasking, had several meetings, tried to sort out a lot of things, but hey, we're here this morning and we're here to find your voice, and that's what we do every Monday morning, 10 a.m. West African time. I got something for you this morning on this episode. We're still looking at the courage to speak up, and because today we want to pay more attention on how you can overcome the fear of rejection and criticism. This is very important because from the feedback I'm getting on this particular episodes that we've done and with respect to the courage to speak up, I find a lot of people are dealing with a whole lot with respect to the courage to speak up. And so today we'll be talking about how you can overcome the fear of rejection and criticism, because if you don't speak up, you will lose a whole lot more. And that's why this show is here to help you find your voice. And so once again, gentlemen and ladies, welcome to the show. And I believe that what we're going to be doing here today will help you build value and improve your self-worth and self-esteem, and make you become the man, the woman that you desire to be. That's the essence of the show, because when you find your voice, you find your life. When you find your life, then your destiny is settled. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I'll be talking to you from three angles this morning on the show, three different segments. On the first segment, we'll be looking at how you can understand the fear of rejection and criticism, and we'll talk a bit about that in the first segment, and then we'll move on to the cost of staying silent. You know what? When you keep quiet and say nothing, you are losing a lot. We're going to look at some of the losses that you stand to have if you don't speak up. And thirdly, we'll be talking about how you can overcome the fear of rejection and some strategies that you can utilize to overcome fear of rejection and criticism. That's what the show will be about this morning. But just before I do the deep dive, let's listen to that beautiful tune by Zakar Valaha, which is our signature tune called Anthem of Victory. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Whenever you hear that signature tune, just know that it's time for you to enjoy the anthem of victory. And only one show has the signature tune. It is Find Your Voice with the Oxygen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a beautiful morning, like I said earlier, and we're back on air to do something very interesting. And I want you to just connect and let's make this a beautiful morning. Now, what are we talking about? We're looking at the first segment this morning, and I want to bring you straight up to something interesting that will help you. We're talking about how do you understand the fear of criticism and rejection. That's what I want to share with you in the first segment of the show. And so let's talk about that. Let's start by addressing the roots of these fears. What is the cause of the fear of rejection and criticism? Basically, the root of rejection is nothing more other than it stems from the deep-seated need to belong and be accepted. Well, every human being want to be accepted. You want to belong, some clique, some group, some people, some friends, some, guys or ladies, you just want to belong. And that need to belong is what actually necessitates the fear of rejection. Because you know what? We're human and it's a natural instinct to want to belong, to want to have friends, to want to have people that, you can roll with and can share your thoughts with, and people that can listen in to what you're saying and then, have something to talk with them about. So, but because of this need and desire and this longing, we worry that when we speak up, or if we speak up, we might be ostracized, we might be judged, we might just be counted as those who do not get it. And so because of that feeling of being judged, that feeling of being ostracized, that feeling that we might just be criticized, we tend to keep quiet. Okay, we tend not to speak up. Similarly, the fear of criticism is linked to your self-esteem. And this is very important, basically, because if you don't get this very important connection here, you might just be missing out on everything else. Okay, there is this very important thing I would like you to note, that every time you feel that you are left out, every time you feel that you will be ostracized, every time you feel that people will not get what you're saying and then therefore put you aside, then your self-esteem is being robbed off. Then your self-esteem is being battered. Then your self-esteem is being affected negatively. And the point here is this: if you don't deal with that, then there's going to be a problem. Okay, let me just give you a simple example just to make this a bit clearer so you can appreciate it a lot more. Let me tell you something here. Oh, thank you, John Agbola. I appreciate that. Let me tell you something real quick. Now, let's say you are in a workplace and you have a great idea, but you hold back from sharing that great idea because you're afraid that your colleagues might shoot you down, or shoot the idea down, or tell you, please forget that stuff, man. We have better things going here. And because you have that thought, you begin to think less of yourself. And then what happens? That fear paralyzes you from even airing your view. But it's important for you to remember that these are just fears, and in most cases they're not true. They're all in your head and playing out there. And what happens is, the more you hold back, the more your self-esteem depreciates. It depletes your esteem. Your self-esteem keeps going down each time you hold back from expressing your views. Your self-esteem keeps going down each time you hold back from saying the things that are in your heart. Listen, guys, I encourage you to speak up, and I'm going to share with you some of the ways you can do that in subsequent segments, as we go down the show. Now, but this is very important because a lot of people have lost their real selves because they want to conform. They just want to act the way people expect them to. People are in a meeting, they have a divergent view, they have something different, they have an idea that is contrary to what others have shared, and they just say, well, let's just go with what everybody says. I think I agree with them. But in their heart of hearts, they have something that might be the key to the solution of the problem, and they refuse to speak up because they're afraid, if I say something, people might just say, you know what, why are you trying to muddle the waters? Why are you trying to rock the boat? We've got this thing going, everybody agrees with this one idea, let's just tag along with it. And so you have a lot of people who waste their time and energy tagging along and losing their self-esteem. And this is a very dangerous trend, and if you don't watch it, guys, you might just lose it, and one morning you wake up realizing that nothing is left of your self-esteem, and that is how you feel about yourself. And when you have the opportunity to say something somewhere, you ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? What if they reject me? What if they say no? Let me hold back. You will keep holding back until you hold back your destiny. So stop doing that, guys. Come on, speak up. That's why I'm here to help you. So, well, I'm going to play a song that would help you understand what I'm sharing a lot better. This song is a song that I just want you to listen in, because I'm going to be doing a lot more today, okay, because I have a lot of time on my hands. But I think I'm going to play the song twice, but I'm going to play the first time now. And the song is Roar by Katy Perry. This song actually talks about how you can just speak up, roar, let your voice be heard. If your voice ain't heard, then you ain't helping yourself. Please learn to speak up. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be taking a short music break by Katy Perry titled Roar. I'll be right back. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a beautiful background music there. I mean, the music break that was coming your way by Katy Perry, and that song says Roar. Yeah, you've got to hear me roar. And that's what we're talking about on the show this morning. Find your voice with the oxygen. Listen, guys, you just got to make it happen. You just got to make sure that your voice is heard. You just got to try out there to say the things that you must say, because if you fail, I don't know what else you're waiting for. But there's something interesting I want to tell you right now, and very importantly, that there is a cost of staying silent. Yes, there is. You know, when people just say to you, must you say something? Just keep quiet. Don't say anything. Let's agree with what they're saying. Everybody just tag along. Let's just go. Let it flow. Let it flow. Oh, my word. There is a cost of staying silent. I'm going to share 3 of those costs with you. So you want to take the decision whether you want to stay silent or you want to speak up. I mean, it's your choice. My work here is to bring it down and lay it on the table. Lay all the cards out on the table. You will make the decision ultimately. There's something I find with life is, no matter the advice you're given, The responsibility and the onus lies on you to execute. So you will be in a position to take the decision whether to apply or to take to what I'm saying or not. It's your decision. My job on this show, Find Your Voice, with the oxygen. Yeah, the oxygen. Yeah, because wherever I go, life flows. It's to bring light and life to you. If you accept it, great. You take it, fantastic. You implement it, good for you. But if you say nahi, no problem. It's your choice. It's your life, man. It's your life. Yeah, it is. So the first cost of silence, of staying silent, by the way, number one is that you will miss opportunities. Yes, you will miss opportunities, because by not speaking up, you will find that opportunities for growth, opportunities for advancement, opportunities that would have brought connections for you, you will miss out on all of that. And whether it's in the workplace or in a relationship, in a social situation, keeping quiet can mean that your ideas and your needs and your perspectives are never heard or acted upon. The big loss is what I'm telling you. You will miss out on opportunities. Great opportunities that would change your life, you miss out on them. I laugh at this because I know what it has done for me. The capacity, the ability to speak up. I went for a meeting one day, and it was a very powerful, well delegated, strong delegations. And in that meeting, people began speaking and talking, and I had the concept of a solution to the problem, and everyone else was talking about the problem. We have the problem, this is the problem. And I sat down and I took in everything they had said. And when they were almost about done with that segment, I lifted up my hand. I said I had something to say. They said, "Oh no, we're almost done with this. Are you going to repeat what everybody have said? We've all agreed that everybody has an idea what the problem is." And I said, "I have an idea of what the solution should be, not the problem. We all know the problem. We've all identified the problem. Can I at least be given 3 minutes to speak? If by the time I'm in the middle of my presentation it doesn't make sense, you can shut me down. But please give me the privilege to speak in this meeting. I've not spoken since we started, and I need to say something." Reluctantly, the leader, the convener of the meeting, who's a former senator of the Federal Republic, looked at me and told the chairman, said, "Let him speak." So I stood up and I said, "We've all identified the problems, and I agree totally. But what if the man that we're talking about that has a challenge and a problem and is not reaching out is finding it difficult to reach out because there are certain forces holding him back? I suggest that we send an emissary to him and request for an audience, and let's go to him. Since he's not reaching out, let's reach out to him, sit with him, give him confidence that we are here to help solve whatever problems there may be that is faced with, and as a group tell him we're behind him." That will give him the opportunity to open up and share a few thoughts. But in going for that audience, we'll take high power delegation of 4 or 5 people that when he looks at their pedigree, he will be comfortable to speak to them. And I believe that if we do just that, we'll get results faster than we can ever do. That's my submission. Thank you everyone for this opportunity. Thank you, Senator. And I sat down. And guess what, guys? The senator said, "This is exactly the course of action we're going to take. This young man has provided us with a solution that we've been looking for. Mr. Chairman, note it. Secretary, note it. We're going to make that visit, and we will do exactly what he just said. Thank you, young man. What's your name again?" And of course, I stood up and I introduced myself again a second time. And you know what that meant for me? From that day on, whenever I lift up my hand in that meeting, everybody wants to hear what I have to say. I didn't miss that opportunity. But imagine what would have happened if I had stayed silent because I was afraid of criticism, or I was afraid of being judged or being rejected. Of course, there was an attempt to tell me to sit down, but I didn't stay silent. I spoke up. Yes, I did. And so the first thing I want you to learn this morning is that when you stay silent, you miss opportunities. And these are opportunities that can change the course of action for your life and everything else that affects you. When you stay silent, you miss that entirely. You don't want to do that to yourself no more. Please don't. The second thing that you're going to pay as a price for staying silent, heavy one, is that you're going to build a cycle of self-doubt around your life. A cycle of self-doubt. And the painful thing about it is that when you don't speak up, you start internalizing the belief that your thoughts and your opinions don't matter. And when you start internalizing that your thoughts and opinions don't matter, you know what's going to happen? It will lead to a diminished confidence over time. You will begin to lose confidence in your ability to speak up. You begin to lose confidence in your thoughts. You begin to lose confidence in the concepts that come to your mind. You begin to lose confidence in your creative ability to navigate the waters of life and bring out solutions and ideas that can solve problems for people. Believe me, this is a dangerous trend. I have worked with people who over the years have stayed silent, and when I tell them to do things, they second guess themselves. And digging deep, I discover that the reason they are in that quagmire is because they've stayed silent for too long, and they've come to the point where they feel that their opinions, their thoughts, their counsel doesn't amount to nothing. And based on that, they find it difficult to speak up. I have a young man who, rather than talk to me about his challenges and the things he wants to do, he will wait, and close to the middle of the night he'll send me a WhatsApp message, and I'm like, excuse me, young man, why would you be sending me a message when you and I were together yesterday having a conversation on this matter? And he'll just be looking funny. I understand what the challenge is. He's been quiet for too long, so he's afraid that if he speaks he might be shut down. If he speaks he might be criticized. If he speaks he might be rejected. So he resorts to going to the silent moment of his bedroom somewhere around past 10 in the night and sending WhatsApp message on a matter that was discussed earlier one-on-one, and he couldn't air his opinion. He just said, yes sir, it's okay, yes sir, no problem sir, I'll do it sir, only to come late in the night on WhatsApp and chat to say, sir, I'm sorry, I didn't know tomorrow I may not be able to, can we please move this arrangement to Tuesday? Hey, you know what that means? It's because it's entered into a gauge of self-doubt. Dangerous place to be. That's why I encourage people to speak up. Because you know what? When you don't, you just get into that cycle of self-doubt. Big loss, big cost. The third cost that you're going to pay, third price that you will pay for failing to speak up, the cost is heavy, is the fact that you're going to have stunted relationships. Now, what do I mean by stunted relationships? I'm saying to you that if you don't speak up, all right, if you stay silent in your relationships and engagements with people, what's going to happen is that when you keep silence over important issues that lead to misunderstandings, it will one day lead to resentment. Things that you could talk about, discuss, trash out, you keep quiet over them, those misunderstandings will lead to resentment. And that's a dangerous price to pay, by the way. It's not something you want to get involved in. Very heavy price. Because open communication is the key to maintaining healthy and strong relationships. But when you choose to stay silent, I've heard people say, well, I don't want to talk about it, I'll just allow it, let it just keep going on. No problem, I'll just stay, I won't say anything. I tell them, you better start talking. You better start talking, because difficult relationships, the solution to it is to have engagements, it's to talk, it's to have conversations. You better start talking about it. Get your partner to sit down and have the conversation. Yes, you guys might fall out in words or say some things you may not like, but hey, ultimately you're going to resolve it, because if you truly care about each other, you're going to resolve it. In the business place, you've got to talk, you got to speak up. When people take rash decisions, just wake up one morning and take a decision that ought not to have been, and you start wondering, why would this person do such a thing overnight? I mean, no, it's not overnight. I'm sorry, it is that decision didn't just happen. That decision is just something that's been kept over time, and because it's been there in the person's heart over time, the person gets to a point where he or she can't handle it anymore, and then they just take a decision, and you wonder why. No, nothing to wonder about. Truth is, it's a price they've got to pay, and that's why that relationship stays stunted. And I'm talking about relationship in the broad perspective: the workplace, relationship with the husband and wife, relationship amongst friends, business partners, every kind of relationship in broad sense. Relationship stays stunted when people keep silent over issues, when people don't speak up because they feel that, I'll be criticized, or I will be judged, or perhaps I will be rejected if I say something. It's a huge price. I want to ask you right now, are you willing to miss opportunities in life because you choose to be quiet or silent? Are you willing to build a circle of self-doubt around your life because you choose to be silent, not to say anything? Or are you willing to have a stunted relationship, or even a relationship that breaks up because you decided not to say anything? Think about it again. Think about it one more time. And as you're thinking about it, I want you to just listen into this song one more time. Because the song just talks about something that really appeals to me. Roar by Katy Perry. I'm playing it again so that all of you listening in can get the lyrics of the song. Or you can go Google it. Let's take another break with Roar by Katy Perry. Let's do this. Right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for your patience. That song was a very powerful one there by Katy Perry, and that song is titled Roar. I want to hear your voice, guys. I need everybody out here listening to the show to shoot me your comments. I want to know how the show is going with you. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp. The number to reach out to me on WhatsApp is plus 234 706 437 2015. The number once again is plus 234 706 437 2015. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp. You can send your comments on the platforms on which you're listening or watching the show from, and I want to have this conversation with you. I want to hear what you think about the show and how the show is impacting your life and the values bringing to you. I like value, I like creative value, and I like bringing value to the table. That's what I'm up for and about for. And once again, guys, welcome to the third segment of the show. This is Find Your Voice with the Oxygen. And we're here doing this show together because you make me wake up every Monday morning and think about what to put out there. And I'm doing this. Today, we're still talking about a very important topic on this episode, the courage to speak up, the segment. The series is the courage to speak up. But today's episode is titled Overcoming the Fear of Rejection and Criticism. And we've dealt with the first segment, which talks about to understand the fear of rejection and criticism. We've looked at the second segment where we talked about the cost of staying silent. And right now, we want to talk about some strategies that you can utilize to overcome fear of rejection and criticism. And I will be talking about 5 of them within the limits of the time I have available on the show. So I'm going to be going through them right now. Once again, it's your host, The Oxygen. Wherever I go, life flows. Ladies and gentlemen, we will look at the first one, which is shifting your perspective. You know, everything is about perspective. It's about what you think, what you believe. And someone asked me, is it possible to just wake up one morning and just speak up because you think that you have ideas? I said to them, yeah, because the first thing you need to do is to change your perspective. And that's what I want to share with you right now. What does it mean to shift your perspective? It means that you need to start focusing on positive outcomes instead of negative outcomes. That's right. Start focusing on positive outcomes instead of negative outcomes. Ask yourself this simple question: what if my idea helps the team? Or what if my opinion changes the way someone thinks? All right? And when I started out this radio show, people said to me, you want to do a radio show? What do you want to talk about? And I said to them, I want to help people find their voice. And they said, what do you mean by find your voice? I said, just get on board. Listen to me every Monday morning. You will understand. And I started out the show because I had a shift in perspective. A lot of people talk about everything else that they want to talk about, but I choose to help you find your voice. And I'm sure I'm making a good work at it. And you can see that that shift of perspective is one of the things that help people to navigate the waters of life. And so how do you do that? Well, the reason that makes you not to speak up is because you think that they'll reject you, they'll criticize you, they'll shut you out. But hey, shift from that negative thinking to a positive thought and say to yourself, I'm going to speak up. And I believe someone somewhere will be listening and they'll take me seriously. When you have that shift of perspective, then you are on the journey of beginning to break free from the silence that does you no good. The second thing you need to do is start small. Don't be in a hurry, start small. When I say start small, if the thought of speaking up is overwhelming, start small. Speak up in situations where the stakes are lower, and when you see the reception you get from people, it will encourage you to step up to places where the stakes are higher and speak up. I have always known this, that if you can say what is on your heart and people hear you out, you might just be saving the day. So speak up. But start small if you're afraid that the stakes might be too high. Start small if you feel that, oh, you know what? Maybe if I say something now, they won't take it. Start speaking from your family circle, from amongst your friends, where the stakes are not too high, so that will keep building your confidence and helping you become a lot better than you were before. That's something you can do. It's a strategy that I have recommended to a lot of people, and they've started doing it and it's working. And I'm sharing the things that I've tried out for those who I coach and consult for. And yes, results are very obvious. And then another thing that I thought about and I want to share with you is try as much as possible to practice what I call self-compassion. Some of us are too hard on ourselves. Sometimes we think that, look, if I say this thing and it doesn't go well, I'm gonna feel terrible. Why are you feeling terrible? What's the big deal? Why are you feeling terrible about yourself? Please practice some self-compassion. I beg you. Be kind to yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Understand that everyone faces rejection and criticism at some point in their life, and it's also a part of life. Let me make it robust. It's an integral part of life. So be kind to yourself, right? And over time, you will notice that you'll find it easier, all right, to use your voice in more challenging circumstances. You'll find it really easier. So please, I beg you, be kind to yourself, please. Can you do that for me? Be kind to yourself, please. Don't take life so seriously. If I say something now and they don't agree, I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to feel so terrible. I don't like it when I give a suggestion and they don't take it. Therefore, I'm going to be silent. Hey, young man, young lady, that's not how life works. By the way, all your suggestions must never be accepted. Just know that and have peace. But in any case, still say it. If you've thought it through, if it makes sense a lot to you, say it. Let me tell you the truth here. Sometimes those suggestions that you put out there that people rejected will be fine-tuned and will utilized, and you are the one that birthed the seed of the idea that is being implemented. They may not have taken everything you said hook, line and sinker, but it will be fine-tuned, and they will look into it and say, some sense in there, let's pick a bit of it. So you see, if you keep quiet, you would have lost that opportunity. So be kind to yourself. Understand that, rejection, criticism is part of life. It happens, and just flow and be kind to yourself. The fourth thing I recommend strongly is that you prepare for criticism. Yeah, that sounds like, but I thought you were going to teach us how to avoid it. No. I'm not telling you to avoid it. Be prepared for it. It's gonna come. Understand this, that criticism is not inherently negative. You see, when we hear the word criticism, we just build a negative wall around it. No, not at all. There's something called constructive criticism, and that can be a powerful tool for growth. And if you learn to differentiate between helpful feedback and unnecessary negativity, then you'll be okay. And so whenever you receive criticism, take what's useful and discard the rest. I do that a lot. I share my thoughts and people say, no, I think if you had looked at it from this angle, oh really? Share with me. And they tell me what they think. So great. Never thought of that angle before. But you know what has happened? They didn't throw away my ideas entirely. They just told me about the other angle to the idea. Same idea, but another angle to it. And because they are on the other opposite side of the seat of the table, they saw that other angle. But if I didn't bring my own angle, they wouldn't realize that there's another angle to it. So for me, I don't feel bad about such comments or feedback. I take it that, listen, these people appreciate the fact that I brought the angle where I'm seeing it from for them to now appreciate their own angle. And ultimately, we both contributed to the idea. And so I don't feel bad, because I prepare for things like that, and I know that they're going to happen at some point or the other. There are times when you give an idea and they say, bravo, that's it, eureka, that's it, let's go with it, hook, line and sinker. When those moments come, cherish it and enjoy it. But when they say nah, I think that if you look at it from the other angle, also swallow hard and say, yeah, thanks man, at least there's another angle to this thing, I didn't think about it. So prepare for criticism. When you have that mindset, you're not going to hit yourself hard anymore. You're going to just enjoy the growth process, and you're going to be good. And then finally, the fifth, which is, as they say, the last but not the least, build a support system. I always advocate for a support system. Surround yourself with people who support and encourage you to speak up, like me. Surround yourself with Masho. come on my show every Monday morning, 10 a.m. on Grace Impact Radio. Listen in, because this show is going to be helping you. Also, look for people who support you, who will encourage you to speak up. I know we grew up in an African context where you don't speak up. I mean, it's a crime to speak. You don't say a word. You just take what you're told. You swallow hard. But hey, when you get out there, it's a different world today. We're no longer confined into a space of just Africans. We're in a global space today. All right? We're in a globalized world. So if you don't speak up, nobody's going to know you exist. Nobody's going to know you're there. And decisions will be taken that will affect you without your input. That's the more reason why you need to have people who will be there for you, who will surround you and help you and encourage you to speak up. People who believe in you, allies who believe in your voice and can give you the extra push you need to overcome your fears. You need this kind of people around you. Those are people who bring value to the table. I believe that the things I've shared with you today have been very helpful. In case you've been lost, I bring you back on course. We're talking about the courage to speak up, how you can overcome the fear of rejection and criticism. We've looked at a couple of things on the show this morning. And guys, as I begin to drive home on the show, where we get the curtain drawn to a close, let me say this to you. Speaking up is an act of courage, especially when faced with the fear of rejection and criticism. But remember, your voice has power. Your voice has power. Your voice has power. It has the potential to influence, the potential to inspire, the potential to bring about change. Your voice has got all of these potentials. So don't let fear silence you, my brother. Don't let fear silence you, my sister. The more you use your voice, the stronger and more confident you will become. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for joining me on Find Your Voice with the Oxygen this morning. And I hope this episode gives you the tools and the encouragement to overcome your fears and start speaking up. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And I'm looking forward for you to share your stories, your experiences. So don't forget to share them with me. I've given you the number. You can take it again. +234 706 437 2015. +234 706 437 2015. I want to hear from you. I want to read from you. From me to you, until next week, same time, same station, same frequency, same channel, same link on the internet, same everything, same me, same the Oxygen. Keep speaking your truth and finding your voice. Ciao, ciao.